Hello Ponchine and welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna do something a bit special. It's gonna be a Q&A video for once, because we're celebrating 1,000 subscribers, and you guys are gonna be like, what the hell, haven't we reached that already? And I'm like, yeah, but I never expected it to go this quick, and things have gotten in the way. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that as well. And I expected, I never even expected to reach 1,000, and when I reached 1,000, I was like, God dang, this went too fast, so yeah, but I think it all worked out in the end. But yeah, there's been a bit of a delay in the upload frequency, and I'm gonna talk a bit about that because I think you guys deserve an explanation. First off, I've had 1 week off when I was on a ski vacation. Just, a whole week where I can record, upload, anything like that, edit, whatever, you name it. And other than that, I've had some stuff, just before I went on this vacation, there was a kind of traumatic event in my life. I don't know how to really, I'll just say it how it was. I was going to the store to buy some groceries, and I see like some cars just with their brake lights on. I live in a small town, guys, so just randomly brake cars that are just standing still on this small road. It's nothing normal, so I'm like, okay, what the hell? So I loop out a little bit, from my lane and take a look to see what's the hold up. And there's a little girl. This is outside of school. There's a little girl laying face down in the asphalt, just not moving, just looking. Yeah, you guys can understand what goes through your head. So I whipped the car into the nearest spot where I can just park it and run over there and start administrating first aid to her, because she had been involved in a car accident, and I'm not gonna go into it too much, but I'm trained to deal with that stuff. And yeah, she was fine, I think. I mean, it looked worse than it was. She hadn't broken anything. And she was very, very traumatized by the whole situation, of course, understandably. And that also, just this image of her laying down in the asphalt is gonna probably stick with me for a while. It was, I had some rough nights of sleep, after that. And moving on from that somber story, I've also had things that I've had to deal with, like catching up with family gatherings, friends, having a girlfriend. Everything gets in the way, studying, and this is YouTube. Sadly, it's not like a priority for me because it's just a hobby. So I hope you guys are fine with that. I'm not trying to say I don't like doing these videos, or doing stuff on the channel or interacting with you guys. No, it's not like that. It's just you guys have your own lives. You can understand that trying to run a YouTube channel as well. It's not the easiest all the time. Anyway, we have some gameplay here in the background of GHPC for now. I just like the game, and I was figuring, I'd put it in here, and you guys can tell me what you like, if it's something you want to see more of, or so on. We're gonna be moving on to some Mius front gameplay running in the background after a while, so don't worry about that, guys. Anyway, let's get started with these comments. We will be doing them chronologically, and as I said in the post, the first post I made on this subject, every question will be answered, so it's gonna take a while, I think, this whole thing, but you guys, I think you guys deserve good answers, so I'm gonna try to give them. So the first question here by Bujumuju 420, or however you want that to be read. He writes, okay. Okay, can you put on thumbnails like you used to do it for, I think, 3 months ago? Small text like one turn, one part, etc. You can call video. Sorry, by the way, I can't pronounce that word. I can't say video, I don't care. At this point, it is no matter. But it's easier to remember on playlist when you have small text. By the way, thumbnails are awesome, and video description also awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you, man. I understand what it means. In the Against the Tide DLC campaign I had before, people, or I added these thumbnails that were a bit easier, I guess, to follow along. I stopped doing those because I was mainly experimenting with what people would be clicking on YouTube, and those that type of thumbnail, you know, the one that had less descriptive, like a less descriptive thumbnail, actually worked out better. Now my current ones are, I think, something in between, with the like description or the title having a like numbered episode, so people can find it easier. I think that's a good middle ground here. Also, you know, you can always go into the playlist, and it's sorted chronologically, everything I've uploaded. So yeah, I understand what he meant, but it was an experiment from my part. Anyway, moving on, we have Stas to 6484. Will you be doing any other types of videos outside from Mius Front, other games or historical videos? Do you have anything planned at the moment? Yeah, as you can see here by this gameplay, you know, I have a little bit of other stuff on the channel, and you know, I have a historical video on the channel as well that hasn't done too well. Nothing special planned at the moment. I mean, I want the channel to be revolving around Mius Front and Gravity Team Tactics in general. But you know, if I find something cool, I will be uploading it, you know, if something comes to mind. I don't have anything special like that planned at the moment, but I do have a special project planned. It's we're gonna see how it pans out, but it's pertaining to Gravity Team Tactics, and I think you guys will be. I hope you guys will enjoy it as much as I have done, you know, working on it up to this point at least. So something very special is coming along. Anyway, Hesham TV 994 here. He writes, "Hello. First of all, I started to play this game because of you. It's a good game. Secondly, can you take us in a deployment phase and let us know what is a good strategy to do?" Well, first of all, I wanted to say thank you for like finding the game out and stuff like that. You know, it's always cool when people write stuff like that, because then the purpose of the channel is filled. You know, people are finding out about the game and getting involved with it. You know, it's a good game, and I want people to find out more about it, or at least, you know, awake some interest in it. Anyway, you know, I have some tutorials on the channel already that should be fitting. Like my new player's guide should be like good enough here with the deployment phase. You know, and when it comes to a strategy to do in the game, you know, there's no one size fits all here, because you always have to imagine, just like a real commander, you have to analyze what forces do I have allocated to me, what kind of, like, are they armed, or do I have a lot of tanks, do I only have infantry, do I have support, do I have this and that, what is the enemy compromised of, like, if say I have like 2-3 tank companies under my command, okay, is the enemy compromised of tank companies, or I don't know how to say it, like what kind of enemy are you expecting, what kind of terrain are you expecting, is it light, like is it daytime, is it nighttime, what is the supply situation, how well trained are your troops, how good is their morale, you know, all of this takes into account. The terrain, I would say, is almost like one of the main things, one of the main factors, as well as like visibility level. So, you know, it's extremely hard to say for me, like, this is just a strategy that you can use, you know, and it's gonna work every time. I don't think that works. You have to always analyze the situation for what it is and adapt to the battlefield in front of you. Moving on, we have the next question here from William Kiel 5937. "Hello, would you be so kind to start a long campaign with Soviets instead of Germans to enable us to enjoy this short time before World War III?" First of all, you know, I don't think we need to be this dramatic, you know, because I think we can enjoy our time here on Earth like without me playing as the Soviets in Mius Front. I don't think that is you know, I don't think that is a make it or break it. But to answer the question shortly, because I think this is the most asked question here on the channel, I will be answering it right now. And like, never again. You can just look at this this video if you're interested in why. No, I won't be playing as the Soviets. I don't find it particularly enjoyable to play as them. I much prefer the Germans. And, you know, you can always... why? Well, here's a long answer. Basically, you know, I'm just a wereaboo. Straight up, you know, what can I say? I enjoy the Germans. I enjoy their way of fighting the war. I enjoy how they revolutionized, you know, armored warfare. Like, armored maneuver warfare. Like, you know, moving on from their Prussian traditions, bringing them into the 20th century, you know, I think that's really cool. And yeah, also, you know, it's quite a heated subject among like some people, Russians, that you know, it's I can say it. I have noticed it like in some videos where I've criticized some parts of like the Soviet army, the Russian way of war, and so on. And you know, I've been, you know, I've had people actually, you know, they don't go through the comment filter here on YouTube, but I've actually gotten, you know, death threats from Russians. You know, just I don't even know what triggered them. But then I look at the video, and you know, oh, this is the one where I say the T-34 wasn't actually the best tank of World War II. You know, and that is enough to trigger some of these people. You know, so. It's like you guys are silly, you know. You guys are crazy, because what the hell? Just deal with it, you know. Someone doesn't love your tank that you had in World War II. I don't particularly care that much for it. It's just it was a medium tank. I would never want to serve on one. It, like, completely like inhumane how it was designed. Obviously, you know, some good parts. You had sloped armor. Okay, cool. You know, I don't value tank design like as much as they do, apparently, because they have some staunch defenders of even individual designs of tanks. And I mean, that loops back into the way of thinking that the Russians have of the Great Patriotic War, or World War II as the rest of the world calls it. You know, for them, it's like something they build their whole identity on, that we saved the world basically against the Germans. And I mean, yeah, cool beans, but you know, what you brought instead was not much better, you know. I'm gonna give you guys a fun fact here. I belong to a persecuted ethnicity in the or it was one in the Soviet Union. My my ethnic background is Karelian, actually. So if you guys Google Karelia, you might figure it out a little bit more. Just check out population numbers before and after the Soviets. How many Karelians lived there? They were basically ethnically cleansed by these Reds, let's say. And I have nothing over for them due to that. So I mean, at the end of the day, Mius Front is just a game, you know. You can always look past those things. It's like no big deal. But if I'm gonna be playing something for a long time, I want to enjoy it, you know. So and I think the Soviets would be unenjoyable for me. So, you know, that's the long answer. Taken nearly 4 minutes just to answer this question now. So yeah. But if you guys want to watch that content, you will have to find it somewhere else. If you want to play as the Soviets, I don't care, do that. It's fine by me. But I won't be playing against them. So that's enough said about that, I think. Moving on, we have a question here by Cool Crux, and it's not one question, it's 7 in 1. So I'll be going through it a bit quickly, because, you know, he's gonna get 7 answers, you know. So I hope he's happy that I go through them quickly. Number 1, you sound Finnish. How come your German is so good? Your pronunciation is spot on. It's crazy that he managed to, you know, and as I said earlier, you know, I'm Karelian, so it's a Finnish ethnicity, but I'm not Finnish, you know. My mother tongue is Swedish. I don't sound Finnish at all. But I guess he confused them. My German, I guess, I don't know, some people have mocked me around a little bit, like here on YouTube. They've been like, oh, it's fun to listen to you try to pronounce German. It's like, okay, I'm just doing my best, man. But thank you anyway. No, I don't know why it's good. I guess, like, I did study German in high school, and you know, I like learning languages. I taught myself Russian when I was 12 years old, or began learning Russian, and I've been learning it ever since, I guess. And yeah, I just, language has come to me quite easily. Anyway, number 2 here. What made you interested in big, complex strategic games in the first place? I'm a nerd, man. I'm just a nerd that likes playing these nerdy games. You know, I like military history, I like military science, and these board games, you know, they make you simulate it on a computer. So yeah. 3. Any tips for learning more about World War II tactics and warfare? You know, where do you even start? I guess you have to start with something you're interested in and branch out from there, you know. When it comes to like warfare in general, you can just read, there's so much that's one of the cool things about World War II, you know. Like, there's so much, you know, how can you say, there's so much content out there on it. There's books, there's documents, there's documentaries, like, you name it, whatever way you want to learn about it, there's something for you. So, I mean, just get started somewhere. Find something you're interested in. If you're really interested, like me, armored warfare, well, the Germans 41, 42, yeah, that's a really cool place to look at. If you like, you know, if you like Arctic warfare, well, look towards Norway, look towards northern Finland. If you like desert warfare, well, there's a whole theater, you know. So just take a look, find something that you're interested in, and you're gonna go from there. 4, top 3 games of all time. I'll be quick without an explanation. Number 1, Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl. Number 2 would have to be Wargame Red Dragons. I've put a like dumb amount of time into that game. I was ranked like top 30 at one point. I don't remember. I think my top rank was even in the top 20. It wasn't a huge game, you know, so but I was ranked pretty good in that game back in the day. And the third one would probably be this one that we're playing right now, or looking at right now, Mius Front. Moving on, your number 5 here, your most favorite historical period. To study would have to be, you know, I mean, the modern time, and live in the modern time as well. Or, well, I don't know what World War II, I think that's a modern, I think anything after, like, World War I is considered modern when it comes to military, like, historical periods. And I don't know, World War II is really cool for me to study and to live in. I would not want to live in any other time than the current time, man. Really, you know, maybe sometime, yeah, like during nothing like pre-World War II, at least, you know. Yeah, I mean, what the hell? Nobody who would want to live in like the Stone Age, Iron Age, medieval time. I don't know. If you want that, you're crazy, man. Maybe on the steppe, you know, would be pretty cool as like Scythian warrior or Mongol like warlord or something. I mean, that would be pretty cool. But like, no, it still would be a shitty life, you know. I would much rather live today. Number 6 here. How much research do you usually do outside the game itself? Books, maps, documentaries. A decent amount, you know. I read books on World War II. I listen to audiobooks. I, you know, look at documents from time to time. Documentaries, not that much. Number 7 here. Would you rather command a flawless army you don't care about, or a doomed one you're attached to? I mean, I guess a flawless one I don't care about, you know, and then we could actually achieve something. The doomed one, like, I'm considering, like, do I want some professional soldiers under my command that we can actually achieve objectives with? Or do I want this ragtag group of, like, jazzes that I have to command and don't really care that much about, you know? No, I would rather have the professionals. Here, Carlos 4603. Already answered this. Will you play for the Soviet side in the future? Already answered. Soldat 55, I guess is how he wants me to read that name. Question 1, are you planning to record anything else like the film titled How German Tankers Nearly Conquered Europe on your channel? It was very interesting to listen to, and I'd love to see more. Nothing planned right now, and I'm happy that he thinks so. Not a lot of people enjoyed that, like, video, or it wasn't popular at least. So I don't know. I mean, I think if something comes to mind, I'll do it, but I have nothing in mind right now. Question 2, tell me a little bit about your interest in World War II. Your knowledge is clearly considerable, and I'm curious how it all started and developed. Also, congratulations, I've been watching you almost since the beginning, and the channel is growing incredibly. Love to see more. Well, thanks, first of all. Really cool to see people write this, like, compliments, and, you know, I've seen this guy comment on a lot of other, you know, things I've uploaded. It's pretty cool to see you guys that stick around. It's, that's cool. And, to answer the question here, the second question, you know, I'll tell you a bit how it started, at least. You know, it was when I was like a little kid. My dad, he had a big painting on the wall of his office, actually, of a P-51 Mustang, and I was like, what the hell is that? And he was like, son, let me tell you something. And then, you know, my bedtime stories were like talking about, you know, he taught me about you know, Mustangs, Messerschmitts, what do you call them, Spitfires, like all that kind of stuff, like all the aviation side, and you know, reading stories and stuff like that for me. And I was like, damn, this is cool. And then, you know, it just grew on from there. I remember this book I had, which was like every tank in the world. It was a thick book with illustrations and descriptions about literally like almost every tank there you could like think of, from like the first tank to modern time. And that was something I really read about when I was a kid. You know, you can hear like I was a weird ass kid, you know. And yeah, that's where it developed, and then I just never really stopped thinking it was cool. Next question from Sebastian: would you consider doing more tutorials for Gravity Team? Also, would you consider playing other strategy games like Common Mission Red Funner? So, like tutorials, you know, I understand they're popular, people watch them, and I just want to say, like, I'm not that good at the game to begin with, like, you know, at that stuff. I just play, do whatever I think seems reasonable, and have fun with it. I'm not, you know, or I try to at least have fun with it. Sometimes it's aggravating, but mostly I have fun with it. And yeah, you know, so I just do my best to play the game, and I'm not that, like, I wouldn't say I'm a pro or anything at all. I just try to play it, you know. So there's already a lot of good tutorials out there on it from way more competent people than me. And like, yeah, when it comes to the second part of the question, yeah, I mean, I have some content here on the channel of Armored Brigade 2, for example. And I mean, if something springs to mind, if something pops up that I think is cool, then I will probably play it and upload it. But for now, the channel will be around Mius Front. Green Soldier 2142. What other games do you play besides Gravity Team Tactics, maybe Tunisia and 1943? Yeah, well, as you can see, as you've seen in this video, you know, Gunner GHPC is pretty cool. And recently, I've been playing this, what's it called? City Skylines 2. My girlfriend wanted to get into it, and then it ended up with me, like, actually playing it a bit more than her. So I think City Skylines 2 recently has been pretty cool, at least. Vaporwave Culture 4059. Favorite war films, PC specs. I'll just put up the PC specs here. You can pause and take a look if you're interested. Favorite war film. There's a couple, you know. I think my most favorite one of all time would have to be like Unknown Soldier from 2017. The Finnish war film is pretty good. Other than that, Stalingrad from 1993 is pretty cool, and I like Tora as well. It's a really good one. Bales 1569. How did you learn about the game Mius Front? Was it recommended to you on YouTube, or were you just browsing Steam, etc.? No. This goes way back, actually. From when I was a kid, I had a subscription to this like physical magazine that arrived every month in my postbox. It was called PC Gamer, and they actually had a I think it was Operation Star by Gravity Team Tactics, like, featured in one of their articles. I was like, this is sick. I downloaded it off some like Russian torrent site and tried to understand this shit. And I'll imagine you're like 10 years old trying to play this game. And I was like, hell no, I'm gonna go back to playing like Modern Warfare 2 or something. Like, yeah, what the hell is this? And then I just, you know, remembered it. Of course, I saw content on it on like Reddit or something, and then I was like, okay, let me just check it out, you know, a little bit. And yeah, I found what's its name, Tons87. He's a YouTuber here who's made a lot of content on Gravity Team Tactics, and I looked at like one of his campaign playthroughs, and I was like, okay, this is cool. So I tried it out and then started making this channel around it. Anyway, Meat Ogre here asks, do you play Steel Division 2? No, never played that. The only Eugene Systems title that I played for a long time was Wargame Red Dragons. I've played Ireland Battle before that, tried the European Escalation as well, but nothing else. I don't no, I don't know. I never liked the look of what they made after that. It seemed more complicated, and you know, I was very interested in Wargame Red Dragons, and I really liked the game for what it was. So yeah, nothing else by them. Split spoons, not a question here, but he wants more tutorials, and yeah, as I said earlier, I guess I'll make more, but I don't know what about, you know. I wanted at some point make a huge tutorial for the game, which contains everything you need to know, but I think that I don't know enough to do that right now. Next question here from Camouflage Kodiak. Love your content. My question is, are you qualified in history, or do you enjoy it for the sake of it? You seem to know a lot more than the average World War II fanatic. Yeah, well, no, I'm not qualified in any way. Like, I don't have a formal education in it. Like, highest education I have in history is from high school, and, you know, I never really had to study any time during my school years for any type of history, you know. I'm just interested in history in general, war history, or like the history of warfare, like in specific, and I'm just a nerd, you know, so. And here we have a question from 1105X. Do you believe there is a general/commander in World War II that you would beat IRL? I understand what he means, but to like begin analyzing this answer, you have to look at it like from quite a like what are we talking here? Are we talking a fist fight? Yeah. I hope I would take them all, you know. No problem. For those that don't know, I've competed in MMA, so these dudes from the 1940s, they did not, and you're gonna, some people that don't know jack about fighting are gonna be like, oh, but you're actually, you know, MMA fighter wouldn't beat a soldier. Just look up Sean Strickland, like, fighting some Navy SEALs, man. Like, you know, being good at changing a mag, or being good at, you know, soldierly skills, or being good at commanding troops, that does not translate into being good at fighting. Anyway, I don't think that is at all what he's asking about, but, you know, that's just to make a point about, like, what scale are we talking. Yeah, a fist fight for sure. But, like, moving on to, like, how do you say it, like, leading men, no, I probably wouldn't, you know, in general. But I mean, war is so circumstantial that it put me into a battle that is like, you know, say I have to command a German tank company in 41 against a Soviet, like, rifle battalion. Yeah, it would not be a problem. I don't think any shape or form that it would be a problem, because they would be in full retreat, you know. These would be poorly trained men that are, like, led by purged officers, you know. Fucking, they have a Politburo, like, political commissar among them, you know. He's trying to call the shots. It would be a cakewalk. However, if I would have to lead this Soviet battalion, rifle battalion, against a German tank company, it doesn't matter even if I was the best commander in, like, of all time, it wouldn't work out for me. So, you know, war is extremely circumstantial. I hope that with what I've learned in my, like, research, and, you know, having Google basically at my fingertips, I would hope that I could win some battle, you know. Just having knowledge of, like, you know, hindsight is 2020, so I could just basically Google whatever I had to do at that point. But I mean, I haven't been scholarly trained to lead. I haven't gone to an officer school. I haven't done anything like that, you know. So obviously I would have a hard time commanding men around, like, competently as a battlefield commander. I don't think my chances are that good. But I just wanted to highlight, you know, the scale would be taken into account. What are we actually doing? What are the circumstances? Everything like that. In some scenarios, sure, but I hope anyone that's, you know, reasonably mentally fit here listening to this would probably do good in some of the things or some of the battles that transpired during World War II. I mean, just for example, defending how can you say it? I mean, just take a look at some of the shit that went down, and you'll understand what I'm trying to talk about. Here we have a comment from someone whose name I probably can't say on YouTube. I'll just call him Panza. Sup, I saw this game once years ago and I just refound it thanks to you. Thanks. No problem, man. Anyway, did you play any other RTS games? Yeah, for sure. As I said, you know, Wargame Red Dragons, you know, I played Armored Brigade 2 on this channel. I've also played some Combat Mission, I played Sea Power, I've played Steel Panther's main battle tank. Shout out to anyone who knows about that game. I've played some of the Flashpoint campaigns games. You know, I played a bunch of stuff. Micha, okay, I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, I think. Micha Fratschak 120. I would like to see an in-depth video about logistics and unit replenishment. Yeah, me too, man, me too. I wish I knew more about that, but I don't, sorry. As I've said, I just try to do what's reasonable, you know, and hope for the best. The Stoic Steve asks here, this is a fantastic game and it's great to see your videos of it. I've played it, but it's a complex game and demands time to get up to speed with it. So my question is, can we have more guidance videos, please? As the game takes a bit of time to play, how do you motivate yourself to devote time to it? Okay, so yeah, tutorials, as I've said, that's already been mentioned, but how do I motivate myself to devote time to it? And that's a good question, actually, because, I mean, as you guys can figure out, you know, I have stuff going on in my life that I have to deal with first before doing any kind of YouTube stuff, and it takes a bit of time. Of course, right now, you know, I'm a student, I don't work a full-time job, which makes things a whole lot easier. Other than that, you know, it's just, you know, I like the game. I like the damn game, so I don't know what more to say. I find the time to do it, like, between everything. It's, you have to sacrifice some stuff, but I think it's worth it. Next question here from Civitas Militaris 8460. Long question. Are you reading any World War II books, history books at the moment? If yes, what are you reading? Do you have any special recommendations or books that you find yourself going back to constantly? What about books about other historical periods or from a different perspective on war tactics, etc.? If you don't read anything at the moment, what is the next book you would like to read? If you don't read any book, ignore my questions. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not currently reading anything. I've been listening through Blood Red Snow by what's his name here, Gunther Koschorek, who was a German soldier on the Eastern Front. Just some memoirs, which I was listening to as an audiobook. I've also, you know, my special recommendation or like anything that I would like to recommend would be Eastern Inferno, which is probably the best World War II book that I've read, hands down. Other books from other historical periods or other perspectives than war, I don't know, man. I really like Tom Clancy, you know. It's I think those books are pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'd like to read next, but yeah, I'm not the biggest book guy, but I do read some stuff. Let it be known. But it's not my main medium that I like, you know, consume things with. He has another question here as well. If you could add any operation or theater from World War II or any other game in Gravity Team, or any other war in Gravity Team, which would you choose? I would add the Finnish theater of war during World War II, or anything that has to do with the Nordic countries at all. But yeah, the Finnish, like, fighting in the Winter War or the continuation war would be pretty cool, I think. Because yeah, it's self-explanatory at this point. And next question here from Gubst F. This is a hard name to pronounce, guys. FTJH. How did you come upon this amazing game? Yeah, that's already gone through that. Already answered that, so let's say. Next one from Case Blau 3885. Nice username. When is Gravity Team Enthusiasts meetup going to happen in Sweden? We are one people, me as front enjoyers. Hell yeah, man. No, but I don't know when the next or when a meetup is going to happen. It would be, I don't know, man. If people would want to go, I mean, if we get enough people that want to come here, you know, sure, I could actually, you know, set something up. That would be cool. Anyway, next question here, which is 3 questions from Arcadi9321. What are your favorite engine mechanics that are unique to the game? And I'll name one. My most favorite one would be how armor is modeled in the game. I think It's really cool that you can score mission kills, i.e. like immobilizing a tank, the crew abandon it. You can ruin like guns, you can ruin sights, you can ruin systems of the tank rather than just outright destroying it. You can, you know, make the crew bail from taking casualties, you know, all stuff like that. In real life, you know, tank combat is very scary. People get hit, you know, the tank gets hit, nobody's injured, nothing is damaged or destroyed on the tank. And the crew still bails, you know, because it's scary to be in this big metal box where you can, you know, you have a bad, like, you have a hard time observing the outside things. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of things going on, you take a hit, you bail, you know. No shame in that, but it happens. So yeah, I think how armor is modeled in general is pretty cool. Next question here from him. If you were able to ask developers for any operation with no consideration for absence of models or their disdain for certain periods, what would it be and why? So he's asking specifically about an operation. I kind of answered this earlier, but if there's, we will limit ourselves to the factions in the game, and just operation, it would be Operation Spring Awakening in 1945, the last German offensive, you know. Would be pretty cool because, you know, how do you, if you look at the strategic, you know, situation, the war has not necessarily turned out in the favor of the Germans at that point, but they still, you know, did pretty good, advancing pretty deep within Soviet lines in 1945 with tanks, which is really cool. So I would like to play as that. What is the most annoying feature or a bug? Hard to tell which is which often you encounter in the game. Well, there's a lot. Or there's a few. The most annoying one would probably be the German bipod MG34. So the bipod MG34 in the game, as carried by the infantry squads, is modeled without, how do you say it? Without the barrel change, so it immediately overheats easily. It easily overheats. And does not stop being overheated. They never change the barrels, so the German fire intensity of an infantry squad goes way down as a battle progresses within past the first minute, you know, which is super nerfing basically to play with German infantry and have to deal with that. Other than that, you know, just tanks, not, you know, you push them up somewhere and they decide to show rear armor or side armor to the enemy. You know, super annoying, super... Oh, that really, you know, it grinds my gears. But yeah, other than that, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff in the game that could be a bit annoying, but I think it's worth it anyway to play the game. Moving on now, we will go to the next post here, which will be put up on screen. Only have 3 comments there to go through, so let's do it. Lasser7062 asks, what got you into PC gaming? And yeah, again, you know, as I talked about, my dad actually, I remember once when I was a little kid, he was playing with like steering wheel and the pedals, and he was playing Colin McRae Rally, and I was like, what the hell is this? This is super cool. And he was like, you want to try it? I was like, okay, cool. I sucked. He was like, what the hell, son? You're not gonna be a rally driver. I was like, I'm like 3 years old, dad. What the hell? He was like, shut up, son. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He's a great dad. But no. So from there I got playing. You know, so I played a bunch of stuff on the PC when I was younger. My favorite ones to play was actually, you know, Stalker series. You know, Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, Clear Sky, Call of Pripyat. Those games were my favorites growing up. The next question here from Charles Cornwallis, he asks 3 questions. 1, how did you discover the game Gravity Team Tactics? Already been answered. 2, do you like the grand strategy genre? HOI4, Victoria, EU4/5, etc. I've played a bit of HOI4, and it's like a really addicting game, but it's I wouldn't say I like it. It's quite, you know, arcadey. It's all right, but I mean, I much prefer like serious war games. 3, your profile picture is a portrait of Clausewitz. Are you an enthusiast of military science? Yeah, man. I hope I made that kind of clear by now. Yeah, I am. I don't know. I don't know how I can make this answer entertaining, but yeah, it's something I enjoy reading about. Something I enjoy studying. Like true armchair general. Next question here from Maugot Wolfgoat. What's your favorite podcast, history podcast slash show on YouTube? I don't have any favorite one on YouTube like history show. I do enjoy watching this guy, what's his name, Spookston. He plays War Thunder, which is a game I really don't care that much for. I think War Thunder is like, what the hell, this is not how you make a tank game. But just going to sleep, you know, is something to listen to, and you know, he's pretty knowledgeable about World War II and armor in general, so I like listening to him. History podcast would have to be actually a Swedish one called Krigshistoriepodden. If you're Swedish, I can recommend them. I imagine I quite like, if you're Swedish and you watch these videos, you're probably gonna be listening to that one anyway. It's quite popular. But yeah, that's a cool one. Moving on, we have some questions asked in episode 10 of the latest campaign playthrough. So we will see here. The first question I can find is from Skippy0. For Q&A, do you know why my troops don't all dig foxholes pre-battle? Also, is there a way to lay things like mines and stuff for defense? Thanks. I can answer the second part quickly. No, you don't. You can't lay down mines and stuff. But why they don't dig foxholes is because they haven't been in place for long enough on the operational map. So you have to keep your company in one place or battle group in the same place. I think 1 or 2 turns, I don't remember right now, but they have to stay in place. And then they will start digging those foxholes. Next question from Weltkrieg 3 3998. Question Q&A. How do you make your troops face a direction when you give an order? You give an order and make it, then make them point towards a direction with an arrow popping up. How? So you have to first, you know, select the troops you want to order around. You have them selected. You press space bar. Then you get up the movement wheel. You give them the order which one you want, and you hold control. Or you hold the right sorry, not control. You hold the right mouse button, and you can drag out the arrow. Next question here is from Martin Hage 6404. Q&A. How resupply, repair and replenishment of troops works? I'm still confused how this works. Me too, brother. At the repair shop, there's a number given 6 divided by 1, but what does it mean? Do I need this to multiple with the repair squads and the platoon? In some campaigns, you can assign a repair crew to the commander. Does this have any effect? I don't know. I don't know, man. I understand the category 2 to 4 for tanks and so on, but for small heavy weapons like MGs and mortars, there's not category. There are simply red. How to repair replace these ones, man. I think for this for that category, you just have to replace them, you know, with other platoons. Say your MG platoon is whacked up, you just have to replace it with another support platoon. Finally, I never managed replenishment in my Creation Legion campaign. My Martyr platoon consists of 2 men without Armada, Cat 4, and an intact Martyr with 1 man. Why don't they mix up for a complete one? Well, your guess is as good as mine, man. You know, I've had that issue in the against Thai DLC with the Panthers just breaking down. They're immobilized. I'm like, okay, I would want to transfer the ammo from the immobilized one to the intact one. No. The game just doesn't work like that, sadly. Moving on, we have a question here from Fabian Niedermeyer 4808 for the Q&A. Will you play other games, because I really liked your Armored Brigade video? Thank you, man. And as you can see, you know, from that video and from this video, yeah, there will be other games on the channel, but as I've said earlier, the focus will be on Mius Front. And to finish it off, the last question here from Branko Vojvodic. For Q&A, how long does it take you to make a good and enjoyable video? I mean, I don't know what's enjoyable. I just put these videos out and hope that people like them. And I can say that Mius Front regular campaign playthrough takes maybe like an evening. You know, I play for the time like about an hour, a little bit more than an hour, and then, you know, I have to edit it. It takes about the same time. You know, I go through it in 2 times speed. Add any pop-ups or whatever I want. Sometimes I add some funny effect, or not that much anymore, but yeah. and you know, have to render it and stuff like that, and then upload. You know, it takes about a whole evening to where from, say, I start out at 6, 7, you know, I start out about like 6, 7 o'clock. I'm gonna be done about like 10, 11, 12 o'clock, depending on how long it is. For the more how can you say it, how a bit more edited stuff, you know, like the Armored Brigade, this one appearing on screen, you know, it it takes a bit longer. It takes a bit longer. That one I think took like 3 to 4 days. So yeah, it all depends on what I'm trying to make. I don't know. This one will probably take me a better part of the day to make the recording of my voice, getting some gameplay sorted out, and you know, then editing it together is probably gonna take I mean, it's gonna take a while. It takes a while. Anyway, no more questions now. I hope you guys enjoyed all of this and you got all of your questions answered. If you're not, please, you know, you can always write a comment and tell me about it. Like, oh man, I asked this, but I wanted to know this. You know, just write a comment. I'll get back to you. Don't worry. I'll reply to you. Hopefully, I some comments slip through. I don't know why. I can see that people have commented, but I don't get any notification or anything. That is, you know, not that nice. But other than that, you know, I usually am able to answer most of the comments. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this special, this 1,000 subscriber special, and yeah, until next time, guys, take care. Bye.